Hey there, everyone. That sexy nerd is back again. And I guess Nostalgia Critic's finally covering that creepy Christmas Carol movie. I swear he covered it before, but it might have been one of those really short videos that he's done before. And, yeah, I'm all here for it. Obviously. But yeah, I think this has been a long time coming. I swear he's done it before, though. But I guess I guess I'm wrong. So I guess we'll just find out in this video, huh? So, hey, we all know what A Christmas Carol is. I always loved this one, but, it never really stuck with me. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Christmas Carol has been something that's been shoved down my throat, like, every Christmas and everything, and like Doug, I don't think I've seen a definitive version, but, I'm all here for all the performances, and it's going to keep going until the end of time. I think, like, the only one I've ever seen that was, like, really good was when I saw Sir Patrick Dempsey on Broadway, doing his whole Christmas Carol thing. When he was doing that, when you thought he was just going to die doing that. Don't lie. You thought Patrick Dempsey... So Patrick Stewart was... Not Patrick Dempsey. What did I say? Patrick Dempsey. Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart was going to do this until he died, so... I feel like that's, like, the only one I've, like, really seen. I mean, I've seen all the other movies, but, I feel like that's the one I remember the most. But anyway, let's not close down memory lane. Let's just get into the episode. And remember, please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content. And subscribe if you think I deserve it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I could use y'all help. With that out of the way, let's get into the episode.
Have to. I've made no secret that one of my favorite stories of all time is A Christmas Carol. But weirdly, there's not a definitive film version. Everybody has one they like the most, but there's no Judy Garland, Wizard of Oz, or Bela Lugosi, Dracula. That one gold standard that everybody thinks about when you mention it. But make no mistake, everybody has tried. Many of us feel like we can recite these lines in our sleep, we've heard them so many times. For me, the story is so good, I can watch a bad adaptation and still get something out of it. There you are. I think the idea is that clever and powerful. And one that sadly gets shit on quite a bit, even if it is a little justifiable, is Robert Zemeckis'.
I swear he's done this.
Oh, Zemeckis. The 2000s are doing you hard, aren't they? With his over-reliance on CG effects to a point where he created a motion capture studio thinking this was the future of film. You can't blame him for being excited about what he thought was a new way of storytelling. But while 3D animation has found a groove that audiences like, while still leaving room to experiment that artists like, Zemeckis kept his one style that was becoming very dated very fast.
Yeah,
Christmas Carol was the last of these films he directed, and everybody was ready to hate it. It looked like every other Christmas Carol that had been done before, just with Beowulf graffitied all over it.
Yeah.
With Jim Carrey in the lead role, the advertising was trying to be as over-the-top and literally in your face as it could be.
The ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future.
And while yes, there are some moments like that, the film does actually have some subtleties, clever ideas, and even a few of my favorite moments in any Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
In fact, the surprising problem wasn't how goofy and lighthearted it was, but rather how relentlessly dark it was. Almost like Zemeckis knew people thought it was going to be silly, so he borrowed a few pages from Hellraiser's script. I, of course, love a dark as hell Christmas Carol, but it needs to balance out and actually have me appreciate, Christmas. While it's very clear and balanced mucks that up, along with some other seemingly obvious problems, I will admit, I do kind of have a soft spot for it. That's the word, yeah, sure, well, we'll go with that.
Oh, come on.
It doesn't all work in the end, but the scenes that do, I think, are worth checking out for any Christmas Carol stan like myself.
Yeah.
So, let's take a closer look. This is Robert Zemeckis' 2009's Robert Zemeckis' A Christmas Carol. Well, the film wants to throw you in hell right away. This opening of Marley dead and this creepy as shit Undertaker asking for a tip is enough to make anyone say fa la 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 la. And knowing some of the awkward animation in this, maybe he was supposed to look cute, I don't know. Making up the debt by taking the coins off Marley's eyes is a nice twisted touch, as the film almost says, alright, Christmas, we gotta work in some of that imagery here before we focus on environment on par with a dirty coffin.
Merry Christmas, Uncle. Humbug.
Years pass and we see Scrooge, played like I said before by Jim Carrey, talking to his nephew Fred, played by Colin Firth.
What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
What right have you to be so dismal? You're rich enough.
So Carrie is alright as Scrooge. For as
got a
cartoony as
weird
both
voice.
his design and the advertising was, I like he is nowhere near the most over-the-top Scrooge I've seen. Finney, Grammer, even sometimes Kane I associate as being more over-the-top than Carrie. He's actually much more reserved than you would imagine in this role. Okay, I'm not gonna say subtle, but for all the flashy camera work and whooshing through whatever to show off, these opening scenes can just rely on the acting alone.
If I were to dock you £0.50 for it, you'd think yourself ill-used. Yet you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
The issue is, Carrie is surrounded by actors who would make a much better Scrooge.
Right.
Colin Firth, Gary Oldman, even Bob Hoskins.
I was
my
about
God.
to say, Bob Hoskins would be a good Scrooge. I don't know about Gary Oldman though. I know he's played many different roles, but I don't know. I guess I could see him as Scrooge. Yeah.
Imagine Bob Hoskins as Scrooge.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he's not the right age or weight, but I don't know, do what they did with Carrie with him. Change the image. Isn't that the whole idea of this animation? Because when these guys are acting, they're doing just that, acting. Carrie has to act, do an old man voice, and a British accent. Which again is okay, but it's just another filter he has to work through. On top of this half-real, half-not animation filter. Again, he's really not bad, but it is distracting when his entire supporting cast is much easier to find believable.
Good afternoon.
I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
Truth be told, I would have thought he'd be a better Bob Cratchit. I honestly think he could have knocked that role out of the park. Just imagine
Really?
the Majestic, but not painfully trying for an Oscar.
Don't be cross, Uncle.
What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this?
And yeah, I've talked about rotoscope and motion capture animation a lot in this series. It's honestly hard to remember what I've said without repeating myself. All I'll say this time around is, I think it looks better when it's hand-drawn. Because that's taking the complexities of human movement and reducing it down to a line. How much of a human being can you capture with something as simple as a drawn line? It's interesting to experiment with and look at. This is trying to take all the complex movement, lighting, and textures of real life and make it look like the complex movement, lighting, and textures of real life. I don't know, I think I would have liked it better if they did it more like a painting. That would have been something a lot newer and challenged the eye much more. As is, it's basically Polar Express remastered. And you can hear my pros and cons on that in the other review.
Be here all the earlier the next morning.
So, okay, you know the drill. Scrooge gives Bob Cratchit, played by Gary Oldman, the day off, which causes him to celebrate in this strange way. Did you like the way they animated the face of one of Shrek's babies onto him?
Why does everything seem to happen to me?
Scrooge sees the face of Marley on his door, and again, give the film credit, it really does take time to build up the suspense. Maybe a little too long.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember it taking this a weirdly long time, too. Whoa.
Must go faster.
Yeah, maybe if this wasn't the most popular thing ever written, I'd be more on the edge of my seat, but I think most people know what's coming.
It's all still a house.
Jacob Marley enters the room, also played by Gary Oldman. And yeah, I'll just say it, I really don't think this scene works. I don't feel a connection between him and Scrooge like they were old business partners. He's not really scary because of scenes of him spitting and whatever the hell this is.
Mankind! What's my business?
He just took one of the film's most famous lines and turned it into a silly side joke. And the laughs just keep on coming. The definitive version, everybody!
My desk.
Jesus, Goofy had more class!
What do you want with me?
I forgot Goofy was there.
The only thing I was kinda digging was he didn't look at him at first, which gave an otherworldly feel that was kinda creative and welcomingly uncomfortable. But then he looks right at him the rest of the time, so I guess that's ruined. Can you see him or not? Carrie gets a cute laugh here and there.
You will be haunted by three spirits. I'd rather not.
And they legit make these other ghosts outside pretty unsettling. And legit gotta jump out at me in the theater. But we get back to our Uncanny Valley Museum pretty fast when Carrie plays the ghost of Christmas past.
Yeah.
A solitary child, neglected by his friends.
Okay, good things first. This design is unique. Literally making him a candle is crazy clever. Carrie playing all the ghosts, I also think is really smart. They reflect different time periods of Scrooge, so making them look like Scrooge does actually match up. Why other actors play other roles, I have no clue, but I thought this was a good choice. The execution, though? Good God!
Would you so soon put out with your worldly hands the light
Of hell! He sounds like asthmatic Lucky Charms, looks like Hades let his hair grow too long, and does a dance. I have no idea why, they just take time to show he can do a little dance. Turn to the left, turn to the right. 4 clicks this time.
Bear but a touch of my hand there?
If you get an erection that lasts more than 4 hours, you're welcome.
Takes him back to when he was a little boy, and yes, when this movie wants to look beautiful, it can be exactly that. Just ignore American Psycho as the flame from Animaniacs, that's quite pretty.
Let's go on.
One of the best moments in A Christmas Carol for me, I love him alone in this classroom singing. The animation, the camera work, the lighting, all of it's both really soothing and kind of unsettling. I think it's one of the few moments where the Uncanny Valley actually adds to the uncomfortable feel. I also gotta say, even though I'd love to see him as Scrooge, Hoskins practically seems born to play Fezziwig.
Yes, hurry, lads! No more work tonight! It's Christmas Eve!
He hasn't been this happy since he heard Mario Brothers wasn't getting a sequel.
Ha.
But I'm sorry, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, that's...
Were they like, well, Mr. Toad played him in the other Disney version, so let's have him hop around like a frog freshly castrated. What are the rules of this world? He meets up with... I just realized I don't think they ever give her name in this version. And even though the romance between them is usually rushed in the story, this one still flies by too quick.
Really?
Again, even Daisy at least gets a line in the Mickey one. Which, wait a minute, I just realized she's gonna date his nephew after him? Damn, bitch, that's vengeance.
Another idol has replaced me.
It does lead to this nice touch with the candle I'll admit I missed before, and arguably my favorite over-the-top Scrooge read. Carrie's been okay as Scrooge, but something about the way he says this line just cracks me up.
When it was made, you were another man.
I was a
I was a boy! Maybe in rehearsals that sounded chilling, but in the film, it sounds like Count Olaf showing off for his acting troupe.
I was a
Imagine my surprise! Scrooge sees all of the faces of his past in the ghost, which I think works better written than visually. And he tries putting him out with his cap, but gets launched into the air. A little silly, but again, compared to the advertising where he shouts, "Humbug!" I can't say it's that bad. Oh, I had a dream. I ruined 2 Christmas classics. Nope, just one. Is approached by the ghost of Christmas Present, who's pretty much Fat Bastard and Jesus on nitrous oxide. I didn't think I could be out-weirded by Lumiere's equivalent of Freddy Krueger, but this half-baked and living color character sure is coming close.
Can I go now?
Okay, yes, his acting is really awkward here, but there are some legit great moments. Firstly, the way they travel is extremely unique. They stay in the house and it appears to fly while they look down through the floor. That doesn't sound like that would work, but the camera movement, the animation, and even the music really make it a one-of-a-kind experience.
I remember that.
Another one of my favorite all-time Christmas Carol moments was experiencing this in IMAX and 3D. I'm really not kidding when I say it looked phenomenal. If they ever re-released it that way again, I'd see it opening night. The moment really was that good. When it's a dramatic moment, Carrie does this character okay.
Their deeds of ill will and selfishness at our day charge their doings to them, not us.
And again, I love feeding into the idea that these ghosts are kind of versions of him when he literally turns into him saying his own lines back to him.
If he is to die, he had
Better do it and decrease the surplus population.
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty by the numbers. The Cratchits are poor but happy, Tiny Tim looks sickly but hopeful, and everyone at Fred's party makes fun of Scrooge. They're not bad scenes, they're just what we've seen in a million other versions.
Yeah, I think
But here's something new that's pretty insane. The ghost starts to fade and he shows Scrooge the forgotten children of man,
Here we
ignorance
go.
and want. Okay, that's in the original, but
we
it
go.
is not in this crazy-ass way.
Are there no prisons?
Are there no workhouses?
This is a scene from Krampus, or a horror film parody of A Christmas Carol. Yeah, I think I just gave them their next one.
Yeah. I guess.
Okay, Billy, you can stop hiding under the sea. Christmas Carol can't be scary longer than— What issues are you working through, Zemeckis? Oh, but don't worry. The scary part of the film starts now.
Nope.
Right? Wasn't this so well balanced out? Carrie plays the third ghost as well, which is kind of pointless seeing how he's just a shadow, but whatever, it's not a big deal. But as I know a lot of critics have pointed out, we get a totally pointless action sequence. He suddenly starts chasing him for a good long while just to show off some flashy effects that now look like a Christmas version of Dead by Daylight. This goes on for 5 minutes,
Wow.
and none of it is needed at all.
I've only
You
watched this movie
literally
once.
could cut it and miss nothing. Watch.
The night is waning fast. It's precious time to me. Lead on, spirit.
Would you even know they left out the essential moment of Scrooge as the ant bully?
Christmas pudding, no doubt.
What was the point of that?
I'm gonna say you took him down while he was lying there.
Luckily, when the story returns, it does get back to form. Much of Christmas futures as you've seen in other versions, but we are given by far the best scene in the entire movie and easily one of the best moments of any Christmas Carol.
Please don't be great.
When it's revealed that Tiny Tim did in fact die, Cratchit tries to keep it together and walks away from his family. He stops right in front of Scrooge, having no idea he's there, and lets out all his unfiltered sadness. Holy shit, is that brilliant! Scrooge has
crying at
nowhere
this
to
scene.
turn. He has to look at this raw emotion straight in his eyes. And because Bob has no idea he's there, he's letting out his deepest sorrow for what he thinks is no one to see. Standing ovation, a million chef's kisses. This scene alone justifies this film's existence.
Good.
The following again is pretty standard. He sees his grave, vows to change, and big scary music plays.
I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it on the air.
The one thing they do that's kind of fun is the shadow gets more and more three-dimensional as his time nears its end. Like the future is becoming more and more real the longer he keeps things the way they are. Again, there are some clever ideas in this.
Merry Christmas!
Yeah.
He's returned home, though, and discovers it's Christmas Day. Again, it's all pretty standard, except for the maid thinking he's gone mad. That legit got a good laugh out of me.
Yeah, it was funny.
Next year we must have this dinner at my house. I insist.
And once more, it'd be so easy for Carrie to go too big here, but he gives the proper amount needed.
He
I
does.
buy it.
And Scrooge was better than his word. He did all that he said he would.
Wait, weren't we reading a book? Was Bob Cratchit Charles Dickens the whole time?
Hey,
What
I mean,
are the rules?
To be fair, he kind
As
of
good a
looked like...
man as the good old city ever knew.
I do love that his movement from right to left slowly wipes to the future, where we see Scrooge with Tim saying the final line. It's a tiny touch, but I love little moments like that.
God bless us.
Everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah. I always
And
like
even though
hearing
I
that,
can't
though.
say the big picture works, the little moments do go a long way. This Christmas Carol is sloppily ambitious. Of course the story is dark, but it focuses way too much on that, giving us little time to appreciate the joyful moments and lust
didn't
for
mind
life.
this one.
Which is ultimately the story's goal. It's not like a grown-up parody like Scrooged or something. It clearly wants to be the best one without understanding what just makes a good one good.
I think that's what the problem was. I think the problem was it was trying to be the best one. It, like, Robert Zemeckis thought, oh, I'm going to make the best Christmas Carol ever, when, you know.
But yes, some of the ideas and executions do really work and are incredibly clever and emotional. I'd be lying though if I didn't say the majority of the time I wasn't thinking of other versions that handled a lot of these scenes much better. So yeah, it is a little hard to give a final word on it. If you're sick of the story and seeing it everywhere, I don't think this is gonna win you over. But if you're a die-hard fan like I am, I think you'll appreciate the moments that really do land in it. And, at the very least, be fascinated by the ones that don't. Yes, it's awkward, but if you know the story so well you don't mind sitting through a bit of that, you just might find enough special moments. I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy, remember? So you don't have to.
Yeah, Doug. Okay, you know what? I do remember. I think the one that left the most impact on me was the Disney Christmas the one with Scrooge McDuck. It was because the ending to that thing was, I mean, the whole movie's pretty damn good, and I gotta see him I gotta see if he did or reviewed that movie, but there's the final, when the Ghost of Christmas Future, which is Pete, by the way. Yeah, like that whole thing where Scrooge just falls into hell, that stayed with me like throughout my entire childhood. I think that was probably the scariest I've ever, because, you know, I never really minded the scary stuff in the Jim Carrey version, but I just remember like the scariest one that I've seen was honestly the Disney one, because Scrooge literally falls into hell, especially when I was a kid. That traumatized me. I was like, damn. Memories of being traumatized by movies. But this has been That Sexy Nerd Reacts. Please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content. And subscribe if you think I deserve it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and I could use y'all help. With that out of the way, I'll see y'all in the next episode.